Hello, everyone. This is the Ingress NGINX subproject meeting for SIG networking, and this is a CNCF project. As always, that means that this is guided by the CNCF Code of Conduct, which essentially means be kind to everyone. If you have any issues, please report that to the owners of this meeting. That's me and Ricardo. Or if you have any issues with us, please report that to SIG networking. And today is, oh wow, it's November 9th, 2021. With that, we're going to go ahead and get started. As always, if you guys want to fill out the attendees list here, that'd be helpful. Do we have anyone new that wants to introduce themselves to the team? Doesn't look like it. Okay, so I dropped the doc in there. So we'll go ahead and you want to start running through the issue triaging, because I know we've had some questions. No, I think this was Noah who put in a lot of questions in here for us to look through open issues, which is great. He's always doing a good job with that. I don't know where he's at today. I already had that up and running.
That's a pretty empty meeting today.
Yeah,
I really scared folks with CV, sorry.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before we started recording. We scared everyone away. Hopefully that doesn't mean we scared them away from using NGINX or Ingress NGINX.
Hope so.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start running through these. It is 12:06. Just want to keep track of time because we always like to run over. So this is the one. Actually, before we start doing the triage, I wanted to talk about this because I put it in the notes. Ricardo, this is something we should probably clear up. So we're at about version 49 now in the legacy branch, and I put it in here as a note. This was actually the one that prompted the conversation for me to put it in here. It's using 44, and we talked about this in the release doc that we put out back in August. I wanted to make sure that we clarify the supported versions because this 44 isn't even on there on the support table. And we've got 123 coming out soon in about a month. So I think it might be time to clarify what support from the folks on this call means. And the first question we should ask folks is to upgrade to a supported version. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree.
Yeah.
We've got also a discussion in SIG-Network mailing list. I don't know if you are watching that. Yeah, and that for me that's the same thing. As much as many exceptions we open, we are gonna have more effort to support that, right? So that's not only the API version, but that's also like we've got some fixes to canary code between 44 and 49, as far as I remember. So yeah.
So if the issue still exists in 49, we absolutely should fix it. That's what.
Yeah, it does exist in 49.
Okay. Oh, I don't know. I was that's just an example. So again, we continue to ask upgrade to the latest version, both on main and legacy. If you're having an issue, we'll look into it.
At least update to we can try to say, hey, we support 1 to 2 versions behind. But more than that, like I've seen some issues with 22, 30, 34. That's back on the time that I was like still learning Go. Just kidding. But anyway, that's hard for us to keep that pace, right? So I think that's a good practice to say, hey, we just support past those minor versions, not bug fixes like 49.1 to 49.2. We can say that's the same version. But from 49 to 48, 47, I would say that just 47. Other than that, there is no reason to keep that old version, right? Only if you have like a stability problem with some version, some newer version.
So that's because I pulled up a pull request and I wanted to ask about that because I was going to drop, I think it was 45 from the table. So I just wanted to make sure that we agree on that. So N-3 as well as N-3 on the Kubernetes versions from a support perspective. So, okay.
Yeah, I think that probably it would be good for us just to define as well, like a standard of cutting bug fixes versus releases even on legacy, right? So when we move to 50, we are automatically saying that we don't support anymore 47, right? So we just need to maybe to clarify when are we going to cut like a minor release, or when are we going to cut just a bug fix?
Okay.
Right. So
So
that's
I can open up an issue and a pull request so we can continue that conversation and make sure that it's clear to everyone. And we'll put it in. So what my thoughts were is that we put it in the README and the top level README, and we also put it in the issue template. So when folks are opening issues, it's very salient. Sorry, someone was trying to speak and I didn't catch who. Was that you, Tom?
Yeah, that was me. So when like Kubernetes, there's a regular release cadence, and when you say you're only going to support N-3, what does that get us normally, like 18 months or something? With these Ingress NGINX versions, that minor version is incremented whenever there's a new feature and we feel like releasing it, right? I don't think there's a normal cadence. And so that N-3 might be 6 weeks, might be 6 months. So I think it's hard to plan if you just say N-3. I understand from the support side, it's easier to say it's just N-3, but like that's I think a concern we should watch for, is like if you're doing a release, each time a small little features introduced and it's only been 8 weeks for N-3, then that's not a very long to support a version. The other side is that like you suggest, okay, they need to upgrade before we're going to help them with their issue. There's a very small diff between 44 and 49. So for the vast majority of issues, you can probably look at them and go, none of that stuff has been touched since 44. We can probably help them with their issue. Maybe also suggest they upgrade, but the upgrade's not going to help in 99% of the cases, unless they're messing with one of the few features that have been done between 44 and 49. I think it's going to become tedious to ask everyone to upgrade when like the majority issues aren't going to be related to the new changes.
I definitely agree with the calendar releases, getting on a better release schedule. That's something that we don't do. We just, as like you said, as needed, we do that. Yeah, the Ingress version, because of the calendar, because of the releases like that, it does make it a little difficult. So I think we talk about it in the issue triaging when folks are helping, like to make sure. We probably should add that in there, like to look at the diff and see, is the feature they're asking about or the bug issue that they're asking about, has it been touched for the releases? So maybe be a little bit more intelligent with the ask to upgrade NGINX versions. The Kubernetes versions, I don't think that's, no one can argue against that one, but I do disagree. I do agree with you, Tom, that it makes it a little harder if there's 6 weeks versus 6 months of support.
Well, I think the big thing here is that we're just asking for more kind of due diligence before opening the issue for the most part, and just how to best word that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I didn't really have a solution. It seemed like a problem worth mentioning.
No, you're absolutely right, Tom. That from a user's perspective, that 6 weeks versus 6 months, that's not very predictable. So that's fair.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'm thinking about how much are we still gonna support the legacy branch, and after that we can probably establish, because the legacy branch doesn't follow some version and etc. Right? But we can for sure follow the same version on the new one, and maybe have this release cadence even for the semantic version on the new branch, like the version 1.
I think we still have Semver compatibility on the old branch. We're just basically saying there's never going to be a breaking change until you go to version 1.
Okay.
I think that's, we can put patches on the point releases and any new features, which should probably be few of minor releases.
I
And
think
to answer your
I think
question, how many people are going to be using that legacy branch? My company will be on it for a while because we're not up to date on our Kubernetes releases, and it's the team that does that is very slow.
Yeah, I see. That's a hard problem. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'll be here maintaining what I can on the legacy branch, at least for the bugs that we hit, just because of a necessity.
Well, we appreciate that effort. I know a lot of folks aren't able to do that, so thank you for that, Tom. I'll open the issue so we can continue to have the conversation, see what folks in the community say, since there's not a lot on this call right now, but it does need to be discussed and we do need to clarify. So, all right.
Do we want to?
With
Oh, I was just
Go
gonna say,
ahead.
do we want to have the idea of like an sort of like an LTS version on the legacy and just say, hey, we'll support this version going forward and backport, you know, something like that, or
that
just
was
trying.
part of the blog post back in August where we were saying, I think we said 6 months in the wording. I just want to, it's only in the blog post. It's not in the repo. It's not in the issues. So when
Yeah.
folks open it up, they don't see that. It's not in their face. So we just need to make it more, we need to make people aware that we can't continue to support the legacy versions forever, especially after if we're doing N-3, once we hit, I think it's 24, 23, we're not supporting 119 anymore. So we shouldn't be supporting the legacy if we're following that. So just need to make it clear to folks that as time progresses, you need to seriously think about upgrading. Okay. Sorry for that segue. I just the first issue that we wanted to look at popped up, and that was the one that prompted this for me. So let's go ahead and actually look at the issue and run through it. Has anyone gotten a chance to read through this one? It looks like is this the multiple? Yeah, this is the one with the multiple, and it's not doing the load balancing. The canary. I didn't know that. Long looked at it, but unfortunately he's not here today. If I'm scrolling too much, just let me know, folks. Or if anybody's looking at it, it's 7896.
Yeah, I am just reading while you scroll that. So what's the last comment is from Long? And
Yeah.
did we got any answer on that? Yeah, I don't think so. I won't get these right now because I have my plate full to other stuff.
Yeah.
But
I know we've got the CVE is your priority right now.
Yeah, and there is a pretty much plenty of information that to reproduce that. So maybe there is a easy way to identify if this is correct or not, right?
Yeah.
I'm still not understanding this problem. Does anyone understand it well enough to explain it really quick?
Looks like he's deploying multiple Ingress objects and he's trying to do a canary release with it and it's not working.
It looks like one of the resources has canary and the others don't do canary. But what is the behavior that's wrong in this case?
Canary Ingress should receive traffic. I think with this one, we'll just have to put there's help wanted on this one, unless we assign it out to Long and get some feedback from him. But he says he wasn't able to reproduce it. So anybody disagree on that one? I'm going to assign this out, either assign this out to Long to continue working with him, or we put the help wanted out there on it. Ricardo, your thoughts?
I think that's okay. Assign it to Long and maybe just keeping a track on that.
In other cases where multiple ingresses kind of had overlapping matching, I've experienced behavior where it was indeterminate which one would get loaded first. And that could be why he's having trouble reproducing it. Not sure if that helps at all, but.
All right. So I can go to the next one. Ingress controller serving objects with Ingress class annotation does not meet controller class. That doesn't sound good.
Wait, hold on. What's the title? Sorry. Does not match controller class.
Well, the annotation, that's an older version, right?
Yeah, and they're on V119, but did they say what version of Ingress NGINX they're on?
They don't say.
Yeah, so
Wonder, it looks like they're trying to use Ingress class, but I don't think that version even supports Ingress class. It should only support the annotation, right?
Yeah, 119, yeah. See if somebody asks them. No. Yeah, no. They say which Helm chart they used?
no.
Well, no, they didn't. So it looks like they've got a mismatch on their version.
Yeah,
Because
good at least to have
119
this. Go ahead, James.
119 was it released the class, but it was still was the version was 119. Did it support Ingress class? I can't
Yeah,
remember.
yeah. As far as I remember, yeah. But if they are using an old version of Ingress NGINX, it's not gonna be supported anyway, right?
Yeah.
So if they are trying to use the legacy branch with new stuff, probably it's not being supported, or even they may be using Ingress class, the name of Ingress class. That's remember Laszlo opened that issue about that he fixed like Ingress class by name to roll back to the previous behavior of the legacy branch, right? So if they are trying to use Ingress class name in the old version, it's going to work. In the new version, you need to specify that you want to use the name instead of using the spec controller stuff. So probably that's a mismatch between the versions. It's good to ask the Helm and NGINX version.
I can never remember which one it is. Is it just triage more needs more information? Needs dash more information.
I think you have right privileges right now. You can just select the label if you want, James.
Oh,
but yeah,
that's fine. Spelling's hard as well. Okay, we'll see what he comes back with that one. There we at 1224. Oh, this is
this is cool.
which include a configuration snippet. Oh, do we not? We log it though, don't we?
I think so. Open the PR, maybe 7666.
Might just be a log message.
As far as I remember, I do. Go to star.go.
That's what it's at, right? Oh, it's got a
No,
custom.
that's
Annotations cannot be used.
Yeah.
So it puts out an error. What's he
Yeah.
mean by an event? Is that to the metrics?
I think that means like so that when you describe the Ingress resource, it lists like recent events and it'll show the error.
Oh,
No, but
okay.
also in this case that you are selecting, it's the admission webhook. We need to put on every time this drop annotation something. Go back there, James, to the code. Yeah. So what we do here is actually I get and I drop and I add the but I add the information here. That's debugging, like info ingress tried to use blah 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 and was disabled. Maybe they want just to raise to warning.
Does the error go into a status field? I can't even remember if Ingress has status.
You mean adding to ingress status?
Yes.
I think ingress object status, they only support load balancers, the load balancer IP and nothing else, which is bad because we could provide some feedback into that object, right?
Yeah, it would be great if you could put it into the status. I think that'd be more useful than events, since events like drop off pretty quick.
Yeah. The thing is that I am pretty sure that they are not going to allow us to extend the ingress object, as they are already working on gateway API. But I can ask SIG-Network and say, hey, we want to add some status field, some status message, or some conditions or something like that into ingress objects. What do you think about that? They are probably going to ask us to write a cap, and that cap is going to be alpha from 123, that 124, because 123 cycle is closed, and then we are going to get this GA probably just in 2023.
So maybe this request to put an event is more reasonable because it doesn't require an API change.
Yeah. I'm not sure. We can write events directly through the ingress controller, right? And say, hey, this is an event for that ingress object, I guess. Yeah. So yeah, maybe it's a good idea.
Well, if the object doesn't, if we're not allowing them to create it if it has snippets in it. So the object doesn't even. Well, we're getting into solutioning. This is a reasonable feature if we can write it to the events. Do you want to say triage accepted on this?
Yeah, it is. It really is.
What do you want to say from a priority perspective?
Important soon. Because as a user, I feel like I miss some feedbacks when stuff they are getting created, right? And I don't know why they didn't get created. Like why I have tried to create my ingress object and it's not working. Why I have created my network policy and that's not working. And status fields, they are pretty annoying to get them working because you need like to change API and have some API review. So maybe using events, it's going to be a good idea. Yeah. I just need to figure out the best way to feed that. Yeah.
Since you're working on all of the CV stuff, and what do you want, and you have most of the knowledge from the previous change, do you want assigned to this one, Ricardo?
Yeah. But Tom, if you want to work on that as well, feel free. As you probably, that's a good
point. I have one that I need to finish up myself. There's a cert one out there that I sent myself a while back.
I mean, I was telling that if Tom wants to get that, but if you want to get that as well, just feel free, James. That's
I think so.
Go to it.
I'm intentionally staying silent here. It's a good feature. I don't know that I'll have time to pick it up.
Okay. Gotcha. No problem.
Okay. How are we doing on time? I know we started a little late on this. We wanted to keep it to 15. There's some ones called out there in the action items list. Could probably got time for one or two more. This one sounds like an issue. NGINX doesn't use dynamic certificates when the returns the default one. So again, 46, but again, we'll look into that. I don't think this is, we've not touched anything with certs, to my knowledge, in the last few releases.
Come on. Host case TE AZ name. So the host is wrong apparently. Go.
Their syntax looks totally wrong.
Yeah.
Look at where they define a secret name with the wrong indentation. Like, I don't
I wonder
know.
if that's a copy paste error, or if that's an actual issue. I mean, if this was
even-
wrong, the
it's not a
API would
valid
reject
YAML.
it.
But even the host is wrong because you put on the TLS the host name for the host that you want to assign. So they have
those have
these.
to match, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the EKS dot another host as well. So that's strange. I'm not gonna say that's wrong. Maybe they just pasted wrong, but that's strange.
Okay. Another host, yeah, because the name EKS
Yeah.
dot another
So-
host, unless
so
it's this,
that-
yeah, unless it's this, the supporting other host names with this, that would work. But this one, T dot name,
So
that.
there are some comments. I guess Long asked some information as well. Just
Oh, okay,
just
I didn't
hold
see
on.
this.
Yeah. Just added.
Oh, that's good. He like pasted the docs. That's what that one needed, I think.
Yeah.
And then someone is pasting something completely different for Ingress class.
Yeah.
Downgrading to 0.49. Yeah, this seems to me something related to Ingress class. So that's a. I'm not sure. I think those are two different problems in the same issue, right? Because if you roll to the top, you're gonna see a lot of messages for Ingress class, and they are trying then to use that. Yeah, not on the last comment, James.
That's the last name, isn't it?
Yeah, so they are using, they try to use 104, and then you get a lot of errors for the Ingress class. And then later, they try to use to synchronize the certificate, and that's pretty strange for me. So maybe that's a different issue. Those are like two different issues. One, it's like initially trying to upgrade from 0.x and not relying on Ingress class, and the other one is just maybe some syntax error on the Ingress object.
Yeah, I'll ask Keys to open up a separate issue. I don't think it's the same issue as well. Well, he's also running on 119 with 104 version, so I think he's got class issues, like you were saying. Okay. I'm gonna say triage needs more information and ask this gentleman to open up a
Sure.
separate issue. And then we'll just wait to hear back. So I'll add triage needs information to hear back from what he long requested in. And we'll go from there. Already looked at that one, looked at that one. Confusing type annotation, confusing type notation on annotation. Well, it's a mouthful. All right, redirect request is supposed to be a number, but the below example shows that it's quoted. Whatever scheme Cube value uses from Cube API indicates the field is expected to be a string or null. Is it just me or is it confusing whenever the numbers are sorted or quoted in YAML? I don't know off the top
Yeah.
of my head.
Yeah, numbers they need to be annotations. They are always strings. So annotations
Okay.
they are a map of string and value as a string. So this is why they need to be quoted, right? Because you need to pass to the API a map of strings, being the name of the annotation the key and the value another string. So that's why. If you try to put something like true, it's gonna understand that true, for example, was a Boolean, and it's gonna fail. The API validation is gonna fail. So that's the reasoning of, even if that's an integer, you need to pass a string, and then on our side we try to convert that integer, that string to integer, or that string to Boolean, and fail if they put something that's not a Boolean or an integer. But that's a limitation from the API.
So does that mean that every one of these needs to be updated to strings then?
So actually, what I think we need to do is to clarify that when we say number, the person needs to put a number between quotes, right? But that's still a number. Yeah.
I see where the confusion comes in then. There should be it should be a quoted number, not a string, not just a, I think that's the issue here.
Yeah, annotations, they are always going to be strings, right? So what we need to say is that annotations and I guess labels. So what we need to say is that we are adding a string that must be follow the integer annotation, the number format, right? But that's a limitation from the API actually. That also happens if you try to change something in, let's say, an annotation from a pod. If you try to change an annotation from a pod and put true without quotes, it's going to deny, saying, hey, you are trying to put a Boolean on somewhere that needs to be like a string.
You could probably just make this work in all cases in the chart by using the Helm quoted function.
Yeah.
It's for every annotation, just pass it through quoted, and then it would fix it. If they put a number, it'll fix it to be a string.
On the chart, yeah. But I guess in this case specifically, is like they are following some documentations and the docs say numbers, so they try to put number and they fail because numbers are not quoted, right? So that's a valid complaint.
Oh yeah, I guess I didn't realize this wasn't just the chart thing, but the annotations documentation. I've been caught by that many times, by the way.
Yeah, you know what? This also is a good, is it first issue? Or is it good first issue? I can never remember.
Yeah, that's a /good-first-issue. And /help maybe, yeah.
/help, I think, was the one that asks us, right?
Yeah.
But I don't disagree. All right. That's the triage ones. There's some specific ones that we could probably run through real quick. Time check. First one that I just pulled this up to the top because I didn't know. Ricardo, is there anything specific on the milestone that we're looking besides the the annotation snippet.
There is that cores, that multiple cores stuff that
Yeah.
got merged. And I guess there is some watch namespace PR that got fixed, and also the webhook. The webhook, they now issue some metrics as well. So we now have Prometheus metrics for the webhook process. But this is for the next release. I'm not sure. I guess I put milestones on all of those, but we need to take a look into the last merged PRs. And for the next after that, I'm not sure yet. I need to take a look, but probably it's worth to maybe start working on that split between the control plane and the data plane, or start looking into the gateway API stuff. I'm not sure yet which one should we start.
Yeah, that's a good point. We need to make well, which one's going to be your focus and which one should we work on? So gateway API.
I'm talking muted again. Gateway API is going to be a bit hard, I guess. So I still want to discuss as well with SIG-Network and other folks if our approach with gateway API is right, or if we shouldn't be looking into that cupping idea that we discussed before, like having a control plane that's common for all of the ingresses, and then having the ingress being just something that consumes that data model and programs the templates. Or anyway, I need to take a look into that. Probably a good thing that we should be doing for the next major release, for the next feature release, is also removing mod security, open tracing, and all of those stuff from building the main into the main container, right? So if you want to enable that, you enable them as maybe init containers that you mount the modules in a shared into a shared folder, and then we can compile them in a separate process, and etc. And having also a smaller Ingress NGINX container just that fits almost everybody needs.
Yeah, that's definitely something that we should look into.
Yeah.
All right. So we got this one. Might be a question for Long since he's assigned to it. Was this a different one? Configure Prometheus response time buckets. I remember seeing this one. They wanted the different times. They wanted a shorter time frame on this. Let's
Well,
see.
this was accepted and just needed a rebase. Where are we at with it?
This is the issue on it.
Oh, I thought there was, I think there's a PR. I swear there's a PR. Or maybe we told them that they could open a PR. I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I don't think there were any complaints with it. I think we all thought it was a good idea.
Yeah, I don't know.
There is a PR.
Oh, there it is.
But that's an old one. Is this the right one?
May 27th.
Oh, I reviewed it.
All right.
Let's go down to the
say
bottom
about
and look. UKD7.
Oh yeah, that's me.
Then you got no answer, right? Because you
Okay,
reviewed
yeah,
like 20,
so this is a
28
legitimate
days ago.
review. They should be using the flag parser instead of whatever they were doing.
Okay. All right. Well, I will just ask. Leave it at that. We'll just bump them and see if they say anything. All right. 24. Request for metrics orphaned-ish ingress is accepted in priority.
How
Is this
did that work?
metrics for orphaned ingress without endpoints? Oh, it's a feature request.
Oh, this is cool. Great
Very
idea.
old as well.
Yeah. That's a
What
node
is this?
feature request with the node version, right? Yeah.
Keep asking for it. Keep asking for it.
Assign that one for me.
It's a feature, yeah.
Yeah.
So it
And
looks
do
like
a / lifecycle active or frozen, so it won't, the bot will stop adding yeah.
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 What is it? Lifecycle.
Lifecycle active. I can take a look into that.
This is before we started adding any of the labels.
Yeah.
I just want to get it off the I think we just look at, is it triage accepted?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yay.
More new features. Information should be sufficient. Decide on priority on this one. I don't know what this one is. Internal error, failed calling a webhook, validates. Not that old. Well, not as old as the other one.
Yeah, but I guess I have fixed this one. This is the one that I have probably fixed. That was that panic. Remember, there was like a null pointer on the admission webhook on past. Take a look. That there is a log about that as well.
Why would the error message be context timeout if it was a no pointer? Is this the same?
Yeah, yeah, because actually the controller dies when you try. Yeah. So I would ask if what version? Oh, come on.
This
4.0.
yeah, this
so
is the
old,
latest
it's gotta be an
comment.
old version. Oh, no.
Yeah, let me see if I am in which version I have fixed this.
Well, I saw a merge. Oh, that was very old. Let me scroll up.
I guess it was before this.
So that's 32. That's an older one. But yeah, this looks like they're still having that issue. And the latest one, that's a huge skew, but that's not going to cause this problem. Using two ingresses with a single controller, each one of them have different domains and subdomains are configured with Cert Manager for SSL. And it looks like it can't talk to a webhook. Shouldn't that? Oh, that's the.
So
that's
I
the,
have fixed
the
I
API
have fixed
server.
the null pointer on June 19th. But I am not sure. I guess this was before we release version 1.
Do you know what version that was in? That you
Yeah,
fixed that null pointer.
Yeah, so probably they are still hitting that, but I need to now to figure out because in this case specifically, so they have this error log, and what's the internal error? They have increased it. Okay. Yeah. So in this case specifically, it seems to be. I am sending to you the one that I fixed, and in this case specifically, so what happens? And we have added that ingress that metrics because we have figured out that sometimes the admission webhook it takes a long time to do that reconciliation, and probably they are hitting the timeout of 10 seconds. It would be good to ask for this last person how many ingresses he does have, how many objects, because because probably it's the amount of things that are getting reconciled, right? This one fixed the null pointer. In that case, specifically on the last case, that's, as Tom asked, that's a timeout, because probably admission webhook is taking too much time to synchronize everything. So just ask, hey, how many objects do you have in your cluster? How many Ingress objects do you have in your cluster?
Well, now that you explain it, if the process exits, it kind of makes sense you'd get context deadline exceeded, right? If the process isn't there to send back any more packets,
Yeah.
unless I guess the operating system, does the operating system clean up and send the connection closed when the process exits?
So you are using in that case kubeproxy, right? So because you are routing through the service. I think that depending on which backend you use in kubeproxy, like IPVS or IP tables, it does close. It says that, hey, I don't have any backend here, so I'm just gonna reset the connection.
Do you know what version that you fixed that null pointer in?
It was before that one.
Okay, so we're not thinking.
Because
you
it
think
was
it's just the large amounts.
Yeah. That's my bet, because they are using version 1.0.0, and we have fixed that before releasing version 1. Was even when the branch was called master and not main yet. So but other than that, you can feel free to mark me if they got some sorry, folks, better answers on that.
Yeah, I mean, it will still come up, so we'll wait to see.
Did I answer you, Tom, about your question of like kubeproxy and etc.? Because that's how it works internally, the routing stuff, right?
Yeah, it answered my question, although I don't know that it provided any more context into what might be happening in their issue, because we don't know like what they're using specifically. But yeah, I suppose if the process exited, we'd probably expect to see connection reset in their logs as opposed to context timeout.
Okay, that one got assigned to you. I always do that. And then I assigned myself. Which one did I assign to me? It's in there. Okay. I don't think we're gonna be able to get through the rest of these in the next few minutes. We can save those for the next time, or we can look through those individually. This was the one that we just went through. Do we have anything else that we need to talk about before we break for this one? Do you want to talk a little bit through that control plane and see, since we've got Damien and Brian both on here, see what their thoughts are? Was it not a full-fledged start yet?
Sorry, is that with me?
Yeah, the data plane, control plane, splitting it so that we can help fix the CVE issue or add another layer of defense to it.
Yeah, I think it's something that we can probably discuss with the F5 folks. If I get your question correct, James, sorry, I was just looking into another screen here.
It's all good. It's fine. We probably can't cover it in 7 minutes anyway, 8 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, thank you all for joining and listening to Ricardo and me talk for the last hour. As always, we're available in Slack channels. And if you need anything, please reach out. Thanks all.
Thank you all.
Yeah, and James and Ricardo, if you want to have some, maybe a separate meeting to discuss the that collaboration work, we'd be happy to try to set something up.
Sure.
Definitely. Should we reach out to you or just work through Brian?
Carol, is that something you want to help out with?
Yeah.
Cool.
Can.
Carol can help coordinate everything.
Awesome. All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
See ya,
Bye.
folks.